at it. It's so cute. Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. I know uploads have been a little bit slow, but that's because I am going to be busy until mid of June, and there's actually going to be a period of time where I'm not going to be able to upload any videos because I am going to be traveling. So I'm just letting you guys know I am not giving up on the channel. I'm just a little bit busy, that's all. And then soon afterwards, hopefully, uploads will resume. But today, I have a very solid Great League Remix team to share with you guys. These battles were submitted to me by my friend GBL101. If you want, check out his YouTube channel. He's very talented. And he reached Legend with this team in Great League Remix. He also said that this team will work in Open Great League, and it is, in fact, one of his strongest teams. So, I highly recommend this team. If he says it's going to work, then you know it's going to be good. The team is going to be Shadow Feraligatr on the lead with GOODRA as a safe swap, but GOODRA is going to be running that Palkia moveset, which is Draco Meteor and Aqua Tail. Instead of Power Whip, he is running the Draco Meteor because he wants GOODRA to be an answer to grass types, which the lead is obviously going to be weak to. And then he is running Ferrothorn as a closer, which is one of the best picks in Great League Remix this time around. And he is running it with Flash Cannon again because he wants something that will be able to hit for neutral at least against opposing grass types. The Flash Cannon will also be better in the mirror, and it is going to be very good against Carbink, which is another really common pick in this meta. He said that he felt like he didn't need the Thunder on the Ferrothorn because he has enough coverage on all of the Pokemon for whatever the Thunder is going to be good against. For example, against Mantine, you have that Crunch to hit for neutral on the Feraligatr. The Power Whips are going to be really good against the Mantine anyways. And if you can land a Draco Meteor, which a lot of people are not going to be expecting, then you should be in a good place. Alright, I think I covered all the points there. Let's get into these battles. Up first, it looks like he's going to see a terrible lead of Ferrothorn into Feraligatr. I'm really curious to see how he handles this. It looks like he is staying in and going for a Crunch to get the Ferrothorn into the yellow, and then he swaps in GOODRA. And thank goodness the opponent throws their energy, but it looks like they are going to be running Mirror Shot, and they're not swapping out, so it's possible that whatever they have in the back, it is going to be weak to GOODRA. They bring in a Mantine, and hopefully here they don't call the Draco Meteor. They don't, and it one-shots the Mantine. The Mantine is now out of the way. They bring the Ferrothorn back in, and they have to go for 2 Mirror Shots. The GOODRA is still pretty healthy, and also it's really decently bulky, so they go for those 2 Mirror Shots, and now we can bring in our own Ferrothorn, and I think we should just build up as much energy as possible here before taking their Ferrothorn out. Looks like we might be able to farm them down completely. Nope, we bring in the Feraligatr, and it looks like the opponent is going to have their own Feraligatr in the back. We could go for that Crunch, which is going to be neutral, and for some reason, the opponent doesn't shield it. Well, actually, it makes sense. They probably want to save those shields for the Ferrothorn that we have, which is loaded on energy at the moment. They had to go ahead and invest a shield anyways because we got them into Hydro Cannon range, and that Hydro Cannon would have taken them out. It's looking like this is going to be a good game for us. We should be able to take this win because we got the Feraligatr into farm down range, so they go ahead and they no-shield the Power Whip, and their Ferrothorn was basically 1 HP, so we take that win. On to the next game, we are going to see that Mantine on the lead, going to go for those Crunches, which are going to hit for neutral, and hopefully we can get a debuff. Let's see if we get the debuff. We don't. That's very unfortunate for us. We are going to have to take an Aerial Ace here, and it looks like he is going to take the Aerial Ace and then swap out into GOODRA. Okay, so here's the thing. This is an ABC team, so we don't really have to swap out into our safe swap, and I only say that because if you haven't technically lost lead and you swap, then you're voluntarily giving up switch and alignment, which in some situations could work against you. Let's say this opponent had a fairy type in the back. We have no reason to really draw out a fairy type, but in this case, it looks like they are going to have a Ferrothorn. Also, I am aware that the GOODRA can sometimes draw out a fighter. In this case, it doesn't. Unfortunately, they keep that fighter in the back and they have it aligned to Ferrothorn. We swap our Feraligatr into the Annihilate, and of course the opponent immediately swaps into Mantine. We're able to take the Mantine out with a Hydro Cannon, and we even get the Annihilate into the red. So there's still a chance for us to win this. I think we could probably Bullet Seed this Annihilate down because they let it get so low. We're We're going to go ahead and stick to that farm down. Hopefully whatever this is, it doesn't take us out. It's a Night Slash. We survive and we actually win that. GG's to the opponent. Alright, moving on to the next battle, we are going to see a Gligar on the lead, which is such a good lead for us. We are going to reach those Hydro Cannons in just 5 Shadow Claws, and it looks like he goes ahead and throws it immediately, but the opponent catches it on their own Shadow Feraligatr, but that's fine because it takes out half their health, and that means it's just going to be easier for GOODRA to farm this Feraligatr down. We did go ahead and invest a shield there just in case the Feraligatr was running Ice Beam. That would have hurt GOODRA. It was just a crunch. The opponent brings their Gligar back in, and we have a lot of energy on this GOODRA. We're going to be able to get to 2 Aqua Tails, and the opponent has to shield this if they want their Gligar to stay alive. They go ahead and invest a shield, and we're going to bring our Ferrothorn in, and that's because Ferrothorn is going to be able to tank whatever move this Gligar is going to throw. They throw a Dig, we're going to have to throw a Power Whip so that we don't take another move from Gligar. Gligar's moves still hurt either way, and it looks like the opponent is going to have a Greedent in the back, and Ferrothorn is really good against Greedent, but unfortunately, Feraligatr's Shadow Claws are going to be resisted. He shields the first move from the Greedent. It's just a Body Slam. We just have to hope that this Greedent is not running Trailblaze, and they are going to go ahead and shield the Hydro Cannon from us. Hopefully we can reach another one. They go for another Body Slam, but they're also able to reach a third Body Slam before we can reach that Hydro Cannon, but Ferrothorn should be able to take whatever move this is from the Greedent. It is the crunch. We survive with a little bit of HP, and hopefully this Power Whip should be enough to KO the Greedent, and we take that win there. Moving on to the next battle, we are going to see an Annihilape on the lead, and Feraligatr actually does really well against Annihilape because those Shadow Claws are going to be hitting for super effective. Now the opponent manages to catch the Hydro Cannon on a Dugong, and we should be able to farm up energy on our Feraligatr before swapping out into Ferrothorn, because Ferrothorn is only going to be taking neutral from whatever move the Dugong is going to throw. We go for that first Power Whip, we take a shield from our opponent. This is perfectly fine. Gonna let this next Icy Wind go, and we should be able to reach another Power Whip. Gonna go for it, and let's see if the opponent decides to shield or not. I think this should take them out if they don't. But they invest their final shield, and then for some reason, they even let us get to a third Power Whip. That takes the Dugong out, and then the opponent just top lefts there because they have no shields left for their Annihilape. Alright, next game. Oof, this is a core breaker for the entire team. We do not have a solid answer for Poliwrath on this team. So it looks like he is going to stay in with his Feraligatr, go for a Hydro Cannon, and surprisingly he is able to get it into the yellow. Unfortunately, he can't reach a second Hydro Cannon. So we're going to have to bring in GOODRA here, and let's see if he decides to shield the Icy Wind. He does. He's going to farm the Poliwrath down completely, and it looks like the opponent is going to have a Dugong in the back. So he swaps into the Ferrothorn, and he draws out a Drapion. I do not see a situation where we can win this unless the opponent no shields the Flash Cannon, but are we going to be able to Bullet Seed this Drapion down? I don't think we can. We're going to have to go for a Power Whip here. Let's see if the opponent decides to invest a shield. Of course they're going to invest a shield. They reach another move. This should be enough to KO our Ferrothorn, and yeah, doesn't look like we're going to win this one. So I guess the 4-1 should be enough to get us to Legend in this set. Okay, the opponent's going to go for an Icy Wind here. It's enough to KO the GOODRA, and unfortunately, yep, we are going to lose that. But that's not going to matter because we still get a 4-1 in this set, and that is more than enough to reach Legend. He even gets an Alolan Marowak, which is the little mascot that he uses for his channel, so really fitting for him. There it is, 3032 ELO, well over Legend. Congratulations. But guys, don't go yet. We still have a few more battles to look at, so let's move on to the next battle. We are going to see an Empoleon on the lead. This is actually a pretty decent lead for our Feraligatr because we're going to be hitting for neutral, whereas they are going to be doing resisted damage with their fast move. The Drill Pecks are not going to be resisted, obviously. They're going to be neutral, but they don't hurt as much as the Crunch does. The opponent actually no-shields the Crunch on the Empoleon, and we get it super low, and then they swap out into their Giratina. They go ahead and they shield whatever we throw from our Feraligatr. They were probably expecting another Crunch. And then he brings in GOODRA. He does as much Dragon Breath damage as he can to this Giratina. He even takes a Shadow Ball. The GOODRA tanks it pretty well. And we're able to take the Giratina out with an Aqua Tail, but unfortunately, the opponent brings in a Gligar and they farm our GOODRA down, and that's not going to be good because Gligar with energy is actually really good against the 2 Pokemon that we have left, even up against the Ferrothorn, because it is going to be hitting for neutral. Anyways, we take the dig from the Gligar. They go ahead and they invest their final shield. We are going to be able to bring in Feraligatr and go for a Hydro Cannon on the Gligar, take it out, and then the opponent is not going to be able to do much with their Empoleon. Moving on to the next battle, we are going to be met with a Shadow Magnezone on the lead. Again, we do not have a solid answer to this on our team, but we have 2 Pokemon in the back that are going to be resisting the Electric-type moves from the Magnezone. Also, Magnezone is going to be taking a lot of damage from anything because it's really squishy. We bring the GOODRA in, the opponent swaps into a Mantine. Again, they don't call the Draco Meteor. We're able to get it into the red, and we should be able to bring Feraligatr in here and go for a full farm down. That means we're going to have a lot of energy for the Magnezone that they're going to bring back in. Hopefully our switch timer is up so that we could swap into our Ferrothorn. We do. We swap into Ferrothorn, and the opponent has a Cresselia in the back. Ferrothorn's going to be walling Cresselia, and they go ahead and they top left. Before we move on, I just want to bring your attention to this little bouncy animation that GOODRA does that is so freaking cute. I had to show it to you guys. Just look at it. It's so cute! Moving on to the next battle, we're going to be met with a Quagsire on the lead, and the opponent is going to have to go for the Stone Edges to hit us for neutral, but they don't build up to the Stone Edge, so we're going to go ahead and no-shield whatever this is here. They're running Mud Bomb, probably in place of Aqua Tail, and the opponent then swaps out into a Carbink. We have the perfect answer with Ferrothorn, and the opponent doesn't call the Flash Cannon. They no-shield it, and then they top left. GG's to the opponent. Moving on to the next match, we're going to see that terrible lead of Shadow Magnezone. Again, going to swap immediately into our GOODRA, but this time, the opponent throws the Wild Charge before swapping out, and it does so much damage to our GOODRA. We are in Aerial Ace range here, so we have to shield if we want to potentially land the Draco Meteor. I just want to point out something really fast here. He damages the opponent as much as he can with Dragon Breaths before debuffing himself with the Draco Meteor, because he needs to get them into Draco Meteor range. If it lands, then he can KO. But in this case, the opponent actually called it and shielded it. Very unfortunate for us. We aren't able to take that Mantine out. We're going to have to take it out now with the Feraligatr, and the opponent is going to bring that really annoying Magnezone back in. At least we reach a Power Whip on it, and I think this should be enough to take it out. It's almost enough. They're going to be able to land a move on us. It's a Wild Charge. Again, resisted, but does way too much damage. It looks like the opponent is going to have a Quagsire in the back. Okay, we might still have a chance to win this. We have a shield left. We no shield. Hopefully this is Aqua Tail, because Aqua Tail is resisted, but Mud Bomb is going to be neutral. Thank goodness it's the Aqua Tail, so he lives that, and he's able to reach the Power Whip. The Power Whip is going to be enough to take this Quagsire out, and he takes that win. Guys, we have reached the final battle of the video. This final lead we're going to see is going to be that Shadow Magnezone. Again, swapping into GOODRA immediately, and the opponent is going to throw a move here. If it's Wild Charge, it's still going to hurt, and the opponent this time swaps into Cresselia. Now, he can't damage the Cresselia too much with the Dragon Breaths and potentially get it into Draco Meteor range, because the opponent is going to be able to outpace us to a move. But because they're not expecting Draco Meteor, they let us get to it, and we get it into the red. We're even able to come in with Feraligatr and not take a move, and Shadow Claw the Cresselia down. They're going to bring that Magnezone back in, and I'm expecting them to throw a Wild Charge here. It is, again, Shadow Magnezone. It's going to hurt. And the opponent has a Gligar in the back. Going to go for that first Power Whip. Both of us still have 2 shields left, so it's interesting to see how this is going to play out. That Magnezone is still really healthy, and this is not looking good for us, actually. Let's see. We're gonna go ahead and shield whatever this is here. It's an Aerial Ace, and I think he has to go for a full farm down, and hopefully the Magnezone did not leave with a lot of energy. Gonna go for a Hydro Cannon here, and let's see if we can make it to the second one. We can. can. They do not get to a move. We're able to get that Hydro Cannon off and take the Magnezone out and take that final win. And that is going to be a 5-0 and a really nice way to end off this video. We even get to see the Pikachu Libre. Unfortunately, it's not shiny. Oh well, there's always next time. But it's a 96, so that's pretty good. And he is going to climb into the 3,100s with that team. Anyways, guys, that brings us to the end of our video. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys like my content, please consider subscribing. Maybe leave a like, it helps me out so much. And I will see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye!